I'm just thinking about it. So if you buy caramel corn here
Yes.
and then get a bag of Cheetos
Oh,
and mix them together,
that is puffed corn.
and then if you want to do a Norman on it, mix in
Yes.
some of those soft dinnermints
Oh.
into that
Oh.
mixture too.
Well, we should try
Because you
that.
think of the flavor combination of the mint cleaning out the sweetness and the cheesiness, and then putting it all in your mouth, and then like you're fighting, sweet, cheesy, minty,
We need to get the buttermints.
the little soft
Yes,
buttermints.
those, yes,
The
okay.
little dinnermints, the soft ones.
Well,
See, that's what Norman used to put into the Planters roasted peanuts and mix them together.
What a genius.
And we used to say, like, how do you? Oh, that's good.
And that's how these things are born. Gdayall, and welcome to episode 54, Popcorn. Hello, Phil.
Hey, Barbara. Oh, we could pop the living daylights out of this today.
That's right. We are having a day today where the dog's moving around, phone calls are happening, we're venting.
We're getting those Amazon calls.
Yes.
Brendan just got one, I think, and where you don't answer up, and well, we're gonna, send
we're gonna ship this thing to you.
Yeah, and charge your account $22,000. But if you don't call us now and give us all your details,
Yes, we're going. Yes, that's it. Now I won't tell you Brendan's response because this is a family
Was it
show.
good morning?
No.
Oh, 2 other words.
2 words. Yeah. And the last word is off. Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, let me give you a quick warning in case I have to clear my throat or cough a little bit. It's not the deadly Rona. It's that I've got popcorn kernels because
that's why I stood away from them.
That's right. We've made popcorn today. I can't resist. So, Phil, microwave or stovetop?
Package. I can't be bothered making popcorn. I don't eat it that much.
Right.
Okay. It's not that I don't like it. But that one time, the only one I really liked was that crunchy one we got in for a while.
Oh, that was so good. It was like half popped.
Half popped, yeah. And it's like was a mistake. And they said, "Oh, this tastes pretty good."
It was good. We ate a bunch of those.
Yeah. But I remember, like, you have, do you remember? And you have like 2 little photographs here. One is an old style crank one, and I'm not that old to remember that one.
Well, I'm offended because I have a whirly pop.
That's a whirly pop.
That is a whirly pop.
Like a whirly bird.
I'll tell you a story about that in a minute, but you continue, please.
But I do remember the little heat one.
Yeah, so it's an air popper.
That made healthy popcorn because it need no oil, but then you put the butter in the top and it melted down on it.
It had the butter melter thing.
Yes.
Although it wasn't that is not the amount of butter my mother would put on it. You need to fill it twice.
But when you go to the theater, okay, and you get buttered popcorn, that's not even butter.
No.
It's butter flavored oil or something.
Do you know what Brendan used to do? Because, he had the popcorn at home, back in the States, and he saw them like they used to put like half of it in and then pump the butter substance, and then
butter
another
substance is a good call for it.
And then the top half, and then put more on top.
Yeah.
So we would go to Village in Southland, like before it was redone, and he would get, okay, right, I want you to get the popcorn, and I want you to fill it halfway up, and and they're like, okay, right. I bet they all did it.
Yeah, and they probably all cursed them too.
That's well, yes, I did witness that.
So, see that guy over there? He's a real
Yes. I think the air conditioner dude and I had a similar conversation yesterday, but that's a different one.
Yeah.
So the whirly pop. Now, that's the old crank type. So it looks like a pot with a lid and a wooden handle with a little crank that you twist. Mm-hmm. Now, my friend Amy, that was here for years from Chicago originally, she had one. I think she got it as a wedding present, right? And then she moved back to the States for a little while, and she gave me the whirly pop to babysit. And then she moved. And then she moved back. I mean, I was so happy she was back, but I was like, "I suppose you want the popcorn maker back." Okay. So then I bought myself one, and one of the children incinerated it.
The oldest one.
So I bought another one. So I've got one in there, and it makes 2 like teaspoons of oil you can put in there, and a quarter cup of popcorn, and you've got a nice bowl like this.
It's sitting right in front of us.
It is. And so those are and we will talk about it later, but it used to be so exciting when Mom would get Jiffy Pop.
Oh yeah, that was the best.
It was.
Unfortunately, now here's the rant of the day.
Okay, well, this is topical, so please.
Yeah, we're not allowed to bring in Jiffy Pop or
No.
any other or ordinary backup because, again, I think we already said this. I did say this once
But
before.
say it again, Phil.
Because the government here thinks we're going to take the little kernels out and plant them into a plant and let it grow here, a corn, which is not even native of Australia.
Yes.
You know, so does anybody know out there in listening land of anybody who took a kernel out and tried to pop it from Old Tobacco or a Jiffy Pop? Because I would like to know.
Yeah, because it's very frustrating because those are the things people want. That is a whole bit of American ingenuity and fun stuff.
Everybody remembers that a kid, the Jiffy Pop and watching that thing like the dome come up and then burning your hand on it.
Yes, now we'll discuss a little bit more about that later because it has its own topic. But yes, so that's one of those things. Now I will send this off to you to do a bit of housekeeping, Phil. We've got a new word too.
A new word of
because
the
we're
day.
in a new month.
Okay, the listener discount. So look for that.
Yeah, so it's a purple logo.
A purple logo, like the Queen.
Yes, the royal.
I never thought of that.
That's it.
And so there you can get our secret code. And this, because it's October.
Yes.
It's the World Series time.
Yes.
Play ball.
Yes, 2 words, play and ball.
Yep.
Put those in there and you will get discounts on the listener discounts. Now.
Yeah, that was Brendan's idea. Had play ball. He was crying because you wanted to change it to heads up.
Yeah.
Well, I said heads up. He said, "Yo, I like that better." But
Brendan's going to sit in my head. I really wanted to use it.
And that commercial on TV now where they're saying that heads up. But wait a minute, you're supposed to duck when you say that, right?
My favorite used to play balls in Chevy Chase, the Christmas vacation, right at the end when the skyrockets are going off and blowing.
Oh yeah.
And Bethany.
They played the anthem.
Play ball.
Yeah, because that was always at the end of the anthem. The umpire yelled out, "Play ball."
That's it. Okay, so there you go. Now, please, if you guys are enjoying us, or even if you're not, give us a chance. Subscribe, share our podcast, which is Gdayall, and you can send us notes and any sort of, what did you say, constructive criticism we do love.
And photographs of maybe some things that you've made. That'd be nice
too.
Right.
At podcast@usafoods.com.
Because we like looking at food.
We love looking at food. I think the only time we email each other involves pictures of food or recipes.
Yeah. Good thing.
Suits us well.
As long as I don't get my photographs mixed up.
Yeah, I don't want to. Right.
So like Jane Curtin.
Okay. Right. We're moving on now.
Okay. Today's show?
Yes. So Brendan doesn't like the word history. So now we're going to say first.
First.
Breakfast and the Depression.
We are. And we talked about that.
Yeah.
It's the depression that we're in right now.
It's the new 20s.
So it's not a fiscal depression.
No.
We're in a mental depression.
That's it. That is exactly
right. Mental stupa. Whatever that word, stupa.
It's a good word.
I like that. I'm in a stupa.
Except here, they'd spell it with an A on the end, not the
stupa.
Stupa, like supa. Yeah. And we're going to talk about styles of popcorn and the use in fundraisers and popcorn stores, which we don't really see.
We don't have any popcorn stores here.
No.
So there's the next entrepreneur, whenever the malls open up again and people could shop.
Yeah, that would be
You could open up the what's that one?
Sam's was one.
Or Popopolis.
Yeah,
like
there's
Metropolis, but Popopolis.
And there's Popcorn Factory and a whole bunch of other ones. And we're going to mention some of they have got some swanky flavors of popcorn, not just your buttered popcorn or your caramel popcorn.
Yep.
So.
Now on to fun facts.
Fun facts. So shall I go or shall you go? Which one? Do you want one or two?
I'll do number one. Okay, because it's shorter. And it's not proven.
Oh, good.
So don't blame me. So at the first Thanksgiving in 1621, an Indian named Quadiquina, maybe, or something like that, brought an offering of popped corn. The Native Americans will bring popcorn snacks to the meetings with the English colonists in a token of goodwill. And then they passed around the pipe. And then they got high.
Well, that's all.
And then they ate more popcorn.
Munchies. It's a sign of a good meeting, isn't it?
Yep.
We've never had a meeting like that, but anyway. Okay, fun fact 2. Some native Indian tribes believed that contented spirits lived inside each popcorn kernel.
Wow.
When their houses were heated, the spirits would become angrier and angrier until the spirits would burst out of their homes and into the air in a disgruntled puff of steam.
Wow, that's heavy.
That is heavy.
Wow, no wonder why they smoke that stuff.
Right. Now, we have found...
I'm surprised they didn't start rock music then, you know.
You don't know. They could have.
They had that beat, you know. They had
Do you know the Native Americans came up with aspirin, and who's giving them credit for it?
Yeah.
That's it. So there could be a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Now,
they all went to the Germans. A bear aspirin. Bayer.
Yeah.
We used to say bear.
We said bear.
Yeah, but the pronunciation is like Bayer.
No, I'm going to say it how I want.
Yeah, okay.
And now we have a World War II fact, which naturally come. I don't look for them.
Yep.
So Americans ate 3 times more popcorn than sugary snacks during World War II because there was a sugar shortage.
Wow.
There you go.
No sugar, but eat popcorn.
That's right.
Okay. And then the presidential fact of the week is Andrew Johnson. Not to be confused with Andrew Jackson.
No.
He's on the $20 bill. Okay.
Johnson.
My name is Johnson. You could call me Fred, but my name is Johnson. Remember that guy?
Yes, I do.
I don't even remember what show he was
No,
on.
I don't.
Was it on Laughing?
It would have to be Laughing. I'm thinking it's the Laughing Flip Wilson era.
Yeah. So Andrew Johnson loved popcorn.
So, it's a pretty, basic snack with a pretty sort of run-of-the-mill president.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be back after this pop break. All right, we're back.
We're back.
We're popping back. All right.
Right.
So we'll start off with first.
Yes. So corn was domesticated about 10,000 years ago in what is now Mexico. So hello, North America.
Yeah.
It's also been found in ancient popcorn. Unpopped
Fossil.
kernels have been found in ancient graves as well. So there's fossil evidence from Peru. So it's suggested it was popped as early as 4700 BC. In the 17th century. I like this one.
But the French, yeah.
The early French explorers in the Great Lakes region reported that the Iroquois Indians popped popcorn in a pottery vessel with heated sand and used it to make popcorn soup, among other things.
Wow, popcorn soup.
Well,
it's like corn soup.
It would be like corn soup. I mean, we got this corn, and the whole thing that came from popping, which I don't think is in here, but the common thing is there were certain varieties that the shells were just too hard.
Right.
So the kernels were too hard.
Okay, really stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, so they couldn't really use it. So in heating it, they found that they could then use it. And so that's how the popcorn varieties happened.
And then the colonial housewives served popcorn with sugar and cream for breakfast. So that's the first puff cereal. So, I mean, everybody goes back to Kellogg's being that he invented popcorn, cold cereal. No.
It's those colonial women that were trying to make the best of everything.
Yeah, it goes back to their colonial furniture and Ethan Allen.
Eat your popcorn cereal, Ethan.
Well, Mommy, I can't. I'm making a desk right now.
Okay, and so we digress. And the Depression changed the minds of theater owners as they began to view popcorn as a small luxury that patrons could afford. Unlike most treats, popcorn sales actually rose during the Depression. And the funny thing is, originally they were approached to have popcorn in the theaters itself, like we have now. And they said, no, we're not doing that because we have to put, ventilation systems and it'll stink. Who'll want it?
It still stinks,
It
even
still
with the
does.
ventilation
But
system.
the guys out the front decided to sell them in little popcorn sort of trolleys, and they were making a buck, and they went, hang on.
Yeah, you're infringing upon our
Come
sales.
in here. Welcome to Festival Enterprises Cinema. Yeah. Yes, so that is it. And it was also sold... so this is going back to the 1840s. This is also sold throughout the United States under the names of Pearl or Nonpareil. It spreads through the South by the 1840s. Popcorn had started to gain a foothold in America.
Yeah, so what's the history of Nonpareil or Nonpareil?
I don't know.
Because that's chocolate. with the
I
little white
know.
sprinkles on them.
So it might be because it was a snack. It might be because it was special that you had to make it. I don't know if maybe they sold it in candy stores. I couldn't find anything further than that because I did research that.
Okay.
But it was very special.
And now we get to our Vogue session. Styles.
That's right.
Style.
And as we were talking before.
Yeah, the most famous style of them all.
Jiffy Pop.
Yeah, because it was great. It was a toy that made something to eat.
So it was a little.
Put the fire on, burn yourself. Yeah.
And I saw a guy who found a way not to burn the ones on the bottom.
You're supposed to keep on shaking it.
Well,
over
and then
the
he
stove
turns it
as you're
upside
burning
down.
your hand on the flame.
So let's explain it. It's like a pipe,
it's a pie shell,
aluminum pie plate.
Yeah.
And then it's got popcorn and oil in it,
and has a handle on it.
But the handle's like a hanger, like made out of a hanger.
Yeah,
it's
so it gets hot with
it. And then you shake it over the top, and on top of that, it's got foil that's sort of swirled because it expands, and it ends up being like this big ball.
Yep.
As you go, and you hear it popping, and it's popping, and it grows. My mom had hair as high as that at one point. That was a Jiffy Pop hairdo. And so as you did it, then after you burnt your hand,
like Marge Simpson,
you ripped the top open and burned your fingers because all the steam would come out. Yeah. And then you had fantastic popcorn. It was hot off the stove, and it was great. And it's so fun, and it's still around. It's still around,
but we can't bring it in, as we just say in my first rant.
It's been around since 1959, and there's still like recent YouTube videos on how not to burn it or using Jiffy Pop, and I'm really sad that we can't have it.
Yeah.
But there we go.
How does it go not burn it, you said?
Oh, what he does is at the end when it stops popping, because you kind of hear one or two pops, and that's when you go, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
Then he turns it upside down and shakes it a bit up there, so everything should fall off.
All the kernels that got to the top.
Yeah, so they don't stick to the bottom as well, and then he pops it open.
Oh.
Although the funny thing is, when he was doing it, he was like, yeah, see, it all works. Oh, wait, there's a couple up here. So maybe it's not perfect. And then after that...
And then we came into these 1970s.
And we had the microwave.
The flat bottom pants and everything,
Yes, I do remember. Have you seen American Hustle yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, Phil.
Oh.
I've been telling him to watch this movie since episode 1.
Okay.
I have. And so it takes place in the 70s. And this guy that's sort of mobbed up brings a present, and it's a science oven. It's one of the big giant microwaves. One of the first microwaves.
The Amana, what was it called? It was made by Amana.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know the name of it, and she ends up starting a fire because I don't care if it doesn't say if it says I can't have metal in it. I wanted to have metal in it.
Well, you know how the microwave came about, right?
NASA.
No. The guy worked for Litton Industries.
Oh, yes.
And they were playing around with, it had to do with the military or NASA or whatever, because he was playing around with radar.
Yes.
And with microwaves. So all of a sudden he realized that his Hershey bar in his pocket was melting and he wasn't even on heat. Yeah. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. So, and that's how the radar range, that was the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's,
so I want you
that's how it came about.
I want you to write down American Hustle because I'm going to quiz you next week. But the microwave. So then we had, I think the first thing we had little microwave sort of plastic poppers that you could put in the microwave. Mm-hmm. And then.
They melted too.
Yeah. And they did. It was all a crapshoot how it would work. And then we got the bags. Mm-hmm. And now we still have the bags, but the bags that have all the oil and all the carcinogens in it, but it makes it taste good. Yes. And so how many people had smoke coming out of their microwave because they walked away? Yeah. It says, don't walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. or they burn on the bottom. And then also you could get scolded pretty easily because oil gets really hot.
And I remember
there was so safety concerns.
Well, it was survival of the fittest. And look, we're all right.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the kids wanting to use one of the microwave bags, and they were here, and I made them stay on the phone until because I was like, got to make sure it doesn't. Right. Yeah.
As soon as you hear like pop and then no pop for another 3 seconds, then take it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that made it like a very easy snack to have, like rather than it was like you can do it after school. There's some in the in the drawer, just throw them in, and then they have butter and extra butter. There's the only flavors,
Well,
At
and
home,
the-
they have like kettle corn
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff as well. Now,
Okay, now we keeping on the theme of styles. We have popcorn grits.
the first time I saw this was on Australian MasterChef.
Oh, really?
And I was
Huh.
watching it. I went, no way.
Ah.
Way. She made this. So what you do is you pop some popcorn
Mhm.
and you make it like you would with butter and salt, right? And then you soak it
In water?
in water.
Yeah.
And then you kind of put it through a mill, like you push it through a sieve.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is grits.
Oh, but grits are hard. Like
cooked grits. It's like cooked grits.
Well, because grits are corn.
That's it. But it's just like, it seems like a hard way to go about it.
Yeah.
But, maybe should I give those recipes when we're out of grits for a while? Going, if you pop some popcorn.
Yeah.
But no, and I found that really interesting.
No true Southerner would not cook.
No, that is an abomination, sir.
Yes.
And, popcorn balls. Now, did you have popcorn balls at Halloween in your neighborhood?
No. I don't remember anything like that. No.
People used to give them out, but I was never allowed to eat them unless my mother knew the people. So Phyllis made popcorn balls. You can have that one, but not the other ones.
I remember like the Rice Krispie treats and all that, but not the popcorn balls. No.
Well,
different part of the country.
that's right. Well, there is a Nebraska legend about popcorn balls.
First time we mentioned Nebraska on this show. I wonder why.
Let's not offend any of the Cornhuskers out there.
Yeah. They made, that's right. They did made that lotion for a while. I think they still make it. Cornhuskers lotion.
Yeah, we had some of that.
Yeah, is that from Nebraska too?
Could be. Yeah. I don't know what else is from Nebraska, and I'm sorry. Hey, hang on. Do you know my first boss, Paul Undenstock, and his wife went to a Cornhuskers Sooners game, and they got married. They got engaged on a bet.
Oh,
he said,
romantic.
If the Sooners win, we're getting married.
Yeah.
And she's sure. And the Sooners won. And they're still married. And it must be like about 50 odd years now. Mm. Anyway, so this Nebraska legend, which I quite liked because it sounded like something my father would make up. So I will read this. There is a Nebraska legend that the popcorn ball is actually a product of Nebraska weather. It supposedly invented itself during the year of the striped weather, which came between the years of the big rain and the great heat, where the weather was both hot and rainy. See, that's where it sounds like Cloyce made it up there.
Yeah.
It's got the thing. There was a mile strip of scorching sunshine and then a mile strip of rain. On one farm, there were both kinds of weather. The sun shone on this cornfield and the corn began to pop. While the rain washed the syrup out of the sugar cane, the field was on a hill, on the cornfield was in a valley. So the syrup flowed down the hill into the popped corn and rolled it into great balls, some of them hundreds of feet high, and it looked like a big tennis balls at a distance. You never see any of them now because the grasshoppers ate it all up on one day on July 21st, 1874.
And that's what makes Nebraska great.
They might have been smoking a peace pipe when someone came up with that story.
That's a long boat to stretch.
That's right.
Something more traditional. Cracker Jacks.
Yes.
They even sing it in songs.
They do. Baseball.
Yeah, baseball is give me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Right, and speaking of peanuts and Cracker Jacks, because there are always peanuts and that was, to me as a kid, that was the best part of the Cracker Jacks was the peanuts.
Absolutely.
Because they were like coated in whatever they coated in. But there was like only 3 in a box. Yeah. Where are they?
Yeah, sometimes you get them down at the bottom because they broke off, but not always. Yeah, they didn't do a whole bunch of them. And it's really popular. People still get them from us. I wonder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And in the traditional box, they do make them in bags now, too. But that
doesn't have the magic of the box.
Yeah.
And trying to rip that end off. And I wonder, they used to have really good prizes in them as well.
Used to. Yeah.
Yes. It's much like the Christmas crackers here where, it's a bit dodgy. But I wonder how many people got engaged.
You ain't going to find a diamond ring on the bottom of a Cracker Jack box.
No.
Who said that?
So that is a traditional. So Louis Ruckheim came up with the first version of Cracker Jack, made from popcorn, peanuts allegedly, and molasses during the late 1800s. Now, Brendan was saying that there was a product here that's still here, Lollygobble Bliss Bombs, which is a candied popcorn as well. It had a better ratio of nuts in it, but that was more of a buttery flavor, so that's still available here. And I do love the lore of the finding something special in a Cracker Jacks box.
Yeah, it's always that. Now they only give you some little paper BS thing,
and you can get that on a bazooka. Give me something that I know.
Bazooka. Speaking of bazooka,
yes.
So when I was a kid, I used to buy the bazooka, and you save like 10 wrappers.
Yes.
You send them a quarter, and they send you back something. So
yes.
You always get. I used to love that. That was like my first mail order thing as a kid. Getting all the bazooka wrappers and then sending them out to them, and then coming back with this prize.
And you could send stamps or money.
Yeah,
that's right, because they would take stamps as well. So if you had to send 25 cents, you could do 25 cents in stamps. Right. So now let's move on to
candy popcorn.
So candy popcorn, now, pretty much besides Lollygobble Bliss Bombs, the multicolored candy popcorn was the only candied popcorn or different popcorn I found here when I first got here. So, and they're kind of fruit flavored and still around. But at home at country fair grounds, you could buy candied popcorn back in the 70s, when people loved a little bit of artificial dye.
Yeah.
No one had a problem with it.
Oh, naturally pink. Yeah.
That's right. So it was packaged in a cone-shaped bag hanging from the bunting of market stalls in the fairground. I do remember seeing it, I think, at a circus, as well as the next product.
Oh, yeah, with circus.
Yeah, you'd always get that.
Yeah.
And you could buy a bag for a few cents, and it was big enough that you could eat it all day if you wanted to. But now, the next one
is the pink popcorn brick.
Right. Now, I didn't understand why no one else knew this. I was talking to Jennifer, who, by the way, Jennifer came up with this idea for popcorn. So thank you very much, Jennifer. I said when I was a kid, there was a brick of popcorn. It was bright pink, and it tasted stale on purpose because God knows when it was made. And you could only get it like at the zoo or at, a circus. My mom would never let me have it, but my dad would buy it for me. And she's like, no, I've never seen that. And when I looked it up, that's because it's from the Bay Area.
Because it's only in the Bay Area. And so after they didn't feed it to you, then they gave it to the animals.
Well, that was the thing. You kind of ate a bit yourself and then threw the rest at the animals. And then they probably had digestion issues after that. But it was the Wright Popcorn and Nut Company. And it only went out of business, I think, in 2015. They made packages of pre-popped kernels dyed fluorescent pink since 1940.
And how couldn't they survive, especially in this era?
Well, that's sort of what happened. And high in red dye and corn syrup, it was the symbolic trait of the Bay Area and sold in places like the San Francisco Zoo, like I said. And finding this delicacy has been just as tough as finding Necco wafers and Hydrox cookies.
Well, Necco wafers went out of business.
And now they're back.
They're back, and we have them.
I know. I'm so excited.
By you listening to this. But you know what Necco means?
Oh, I did once. You tell me now.
It's New England Candy Company.
That's it. Yeah. Actually, Jennifer gave me her pack of Necco wafers because
and Hydrox is just another
Oreo. That's right.
Just made by a different company. Probably Keebler, I think.
Yeah. Yes, that sounds about right. But I loved that popcorn, and the sad story I read about it was that this guy's mother was looking. This guy's mother, who's my age, was looking for it for her grandchildren because you can't. They have to have it.
Yeah, they still make it, but
limited
quantities.
Well, this is the brick. They don't make it anymore. The brick. And he said when he finally, although I found someone selling some old ones on eBay.
Yeah.
They probably taste just the same. Anyway.
Break your teeth,
So it's sort of, I think the Gen X were the last group that really had the growing up with it. Anyway, so we'll move on to
caramel cone or caramel.
I'll say caramel. I'm not going to say caramel.
Over here you get, caramel. No, you mean caramel. No, it's caramel. Okay?
It's caramel corn.
Yeah. Go away.
I know.
Anyway.
There's a few things I'm not giving up, Phil, and that's one of them.
Yeah, so this guy comes back into this. Louis Rickenheim, is that the same guy from the...
Yep.
Oh, so he's back.
He's back, and guess what else is back? The World Fair.
So that goes back to 1893.
Mm-hmm.
So where he started selling it there at the Chicago World's Fair. I
Yep.
think Chicago is like the hometown of popcorn in America.
It is.
It all comes out of Chicago.
It is. And we've got another style coming up with that. And they
Mhm.
have the largest amount of popcorn stores, I think,
Yeah.
per capita as
But
well.
it says that the molasses was too sticky for customers to enjoy. The brothers returned and tweaked it up to come up with a drier, crisper recipe, and therefore how we came up with caramel corn.
It is. And it's good. And you can, when you walk into the mall at home, you can smell the caramel corn.
Yeah.
And you can smell
Yeah.
that and hot dogs.
And they make all those candy apples too. They got them
yes.
all. Who knows how long they stay? How long does an apple stay fresh? I guess when you coat it, it maybe extends the life for about 6-7
Who
years.
eats the apple though? Don't you just rip off the caramel or off the outside? I could never get the candied ones because Mom was afraid I was gonna.
All right, but you need a
break
hammer with some of those. Best shit.
Yes, and then poppycock.
Mm-hmm.
That so it's a candied popcorn. The original mixture consists of clusters of popcorn, almond, and pecans covered in a glaze. Other combinations included cashews, chocolate, and pecans.
All sounds really good.
It was, and then we saw it when Costco first opened here.
Yeah.
So we had to go into the city to Docklands, and we saw poppycock, and our family. I would meet Brendan because he worked to up that end. So we'd go into Costco. He'd walk over, and we bought one of those big cans of poppycock.
Yeah.
And we ate the entire thing before we got home. The four of us. And then we're also busting to get in the house because we decided to get the free refills because, that was free. And everyone's like, quick, I'm getting in the door first. But poppycock, and that's like one of the things we'll talk about in a second as well. You're going to someone's house at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You just, you
they
bring
string
something. Well, you can bring that. Oh, well, yes, stringing that.
Stringing the decoration. I've never done it, but I've seen it on TV.
I do it. Yeah. And then I bought artificial popcorn and cranberries, so I don't have to sit there with a thread and needle. That's on mine. But
I guess, so that'd be pretty good because after it's on the tree for a month or 3 weeks, whatever you have the tree up, then you can put it outside and the birds will eat it.
Well, that's true. See?
So it's recyclable.
You should do that this year.
Then they poop all over your furniture.
You could just hang it outside and the cookies could all come and try it.
Yep. At least it'd be white poop because I remember in California, I think Jeanette told you a story, our neighbor next door was complaining to us because the birds, we had olive trees in the backyard.
Right.
And the birds will eat the ripe olives when they go from green to black and then go over to her yard to do their business. And she had, I can't control the birds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'll just stop growing olives. That's it. Now, the next one, as we were talking about.
Chicago
style.
Yeah. So that's pretty weird. And, well, they're from Chicago. So they were doing the cheese flavored with the caramel flavor and mix it together. And so, over here, it's hard for us. It seems like every time we try to get that type of flavor, we can't get it, and it comes and goes. But I'm just thinking about it. So if you buy caramel corn here,
yes,
and then get a bag of Cheetos, and mix them together,
that is puffed corn.
And then if you want to do a Norman on it, mix in some of those soft dinner mints into that mixture too.
Oh, we should do that.
I think that will be our own. Oh, that'd be a really good creation.
Well, we should try
that. Because you
that.
think of the flavor combination of the mint cleaning out the sweetness and the cheesiness and then putting it all in your mouth and then fighting, sweet, cheesy, minty,
We need to get the buttermints.
The little soft buttermints.
Yes.
The little dinner mints, the soft ones.
Well,
that's what Norman used to put into the Planters roasted peanuts and mix them together.
What a genius.
And we used to say, how do you... Oh, that's good.
And that's how these things are born.
Yes.
So,
Rachel, are you listening? Because I'm talking about your dad, and we're not playing that song. We can. Okay. So now you got to go out and get those dinner mints and get the Planters roasted peanuts, the old style ones.
Yep.
Mix them together and enjoy it.
Think
and
of
you
your
can
dad.
think of your dad.
Now, That sounds magnificent. But I know someone that does order things, and his name is Phil. Can we get some buttermints?
Well, we get those.
Get the Andes now.
We get the Andes, and we get the
the puffed ones.
the bluebirds. They're soft. They're big. That's all. So
that's all.
You just need to crush them down a bit.
Well, okay. We have to have an experiment at work next week with flavor styles.
How about putting that on pizza? No.
Okay, now you're taking it too far.
Too far.
All right.
It's
Now,
like putting pineapple on pizza.
to go. Do you know what's funny? Ainsley at the moment likes ham and cheese pizza, but do you know what we have to order? Can we have a Hawaiian with no pineapple, please? That's every time. Because if you go ham and cheese, they go
like 5
pineapple.
Easy pizzas.
Oh my God. Anyway, so the Chicago style was founded, just so we know, 1949. And the owner of Garrett's popcorn shop would see them getting a bag of caramel and a bag of cheese and then mixing it together. And then he thought, hey, let's do it. And there you go.
Two snacks in one.
That's right. The Chicago style popcorn.
And I think Garrett's still around.
Yes. Yes. Well, as far as my research, it was. So to recap our styles.
What we just talked about.
Yes. So
that's another word for recap, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's to refresh your memory.
That is correct. Or we can revisit.
Okay.
Yes. So we've got Jiffy Pop, microwave,
popcorn grits,
popcorn balls,
Cracker Jacks,
candy popcorn,
pink brick,
caramel corn,
poppycock,
and Chicago style.
Okay, let's move on to fundraisers.
Yes, because I felt really ripped off when my kids were in school here, and I'm sorry to the Australian public, but our fundraisers in the US are a lot more fun because here it's just, the frogs.
Freddy frogs.
Freddo frogs and caramel koalas and all that. But at home, they do popcorn, which we'll talk about. So popcorn, wrapping paper, cookie dough, heaps of things are fundraisers. And so people all fill in the forms.
I missed all that because we only had world famous chocolate.
And world famous chocolate, yes. So, but popcorn because it will last. Well,
So on popcorn. Oh,
no.
pop.
So caramel corn or different flavors,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get it in different containers. So people will take orders for it and receive it, which is, quite handy. And people do it for schools, for band camp, for trips, charities. And even before I left around my old work, there'd be forms going out for Girl Scout cookies or whatever. But the school things were often different popcorn flavors. And so it is an American tradition like the Girl Scout cookies as well.
Oh, before my time.
Well, I know. And then I've missed a whole generation of stuff as well.
Yeah. So now we move on to stores. So we're going to talk about some stores that you find in like the American malls.
Oh, yeah. And I think the late 70s, early 80s, it started sort of happening. And you can smell them. They usually, because they have caramel going. Mm-hmm. But they would have big bins of...
Yeah, and they do all different flavors. You can buy jalapeno and
so like some of the ones we have here, so like mint chip, nacho, jalapeno. I remember seeing like candy apple.
So you're skipping the line here.
Well, we can go together.
We're going to blend these together.
We're going to blend.
The flavors,
that's right. Much like the Chicago style popcorn, we're blending.
Yep.
Now the new one I saw was Texas toast.
Ooh, so buttery and toasty.
Yeah, they must put little bits of croutons or something in it. I don't know.
Well, I know that people put ranch dressing on theirs.
Yes, that's really good. Just the ranch powder, when you're doing it instead of salt, is good as well. But you would get these and really heavily candied, so like popcorn, and it's drizzled with white chocolate and
then it comes
strawberry powder, and
then it's no longer popcorn.
Well, it just depends.
Yeah, but I guess any flavor that you want to flavor your popcorn that you like, if it's in powder form, it's easy. You just powder it on.
Yeah.
And it's liquid. You just probably mix it with your butter and then drizzle it on.
Yes.
Or spray it if you got a little spray thing. Yeah, I thought about the Italian flavored one.
Oh, yes.
Pesto.
Oh, that pesto would be great.
Yes.
I'm sure they have like a...
Yeah, well, they do Parmesan flavored stuff, a little bit of...
and it was an alternative to like getting ice cream. You can go we'll go into the popcorn store and get there was one across from.
You still have to have ice cream after popcorn.
Yeah. Well, well, I'm glad you understand how my family works. Mm-hmm. But there was a place in Quail Lakes that Mom will know, or Venetian Bridges. And there was this popcorn shop that was right across from the Lumpia place. So you could have your Filipino food and then go have some popcorn afterward.
Yeah, balut popcorn.
Now that's not a good thing. And these
maybe,
that's sort of now I'm grossed out. There's an image I can't get out of my head. Now, also
I like this one here, salted caramel bourbon.
Yeah, now that's my kind of popcorn.
Just drizzle a lot of bourbon on there.
Do you notice since we've stopped doing our Nat Nosh, we're talking a lot less about cocktails, which I find sad.
It is. That's what we started talking about, the depression. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is the depression. There you go. But the popcorn stores are still in abundance and really big online, which is everything is good online at the moment. But they do things. I saw these big tins. I was looking at it. So it was a happy birthday and thank you, but they also have sympathy.
Oh.
Here's a bunch of caramel popcorn.
Yeah.
Sorry about Grandpa.
Yeah.
Like, but I suppose if someone has everything.
Yeah. But, that's one of the gifts that the container costs more than the contents.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. 5 cents worth of popcorn. You get a lot of corn kernels for a nickel.
Actually, you're only getting 3 peanuts in your Cracker Jack.
Yeah, that's right. But that's been forever.
And you can even be part of the Popcorn of the Month Club.
Oh, so you get a different flavor popcorn every month.
Yeah.
How good is that?
It's like the Jelly of the Month Club.
All right.
And I think you need to, there's a quote here from one of our famous popcorn makers.
Orville Redenbacher.
That's right.
And he was a real person.
He was too, although Freddie refuses to believe it.
Yeah. So he said that every once in a while, somebody would mail him a single popcorn kernel that didn't pop. And I'll get out a fresh kernel, tape it to a piece of paper, and mail it back to them. That's like something I would do. Yeah, here's a replacement. Okay, so here's your one piece of it. Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I read that. I was like, I could see Phil doing that. Take that, smart Alec.
Yeah, and send me back my 25 cents for the stamp. How much is a stamp now anyway? Yeah.
Well, that is sort of wrapping up our good memories, but I do know the last time I walked in, because we've said this before, you had the good mall and the bad mall at home, and then they've now reversed. So the bad mall is now the good mall, right? But both malls, you walk in, and the minute I smell that popcorn, I know I'm home.
See, it's not, I remember we didn't have that many malls in New York at the time.
Yeah.
The only place I remember going with my dad was to Sears.
Oh, yes.
And it smelled like tools. But they did have a little nut counter that served hot nuts in Sears.
Yes.
That was good because we stopped by there all the time, get some hot nuts on the way home. But, buying a washing machine, a screwdriver, you always went to Sears.
That's right. And actually, Sears was in our formerly bad mall, now good mall, and the popcorn shop was right next to it. See? There we go.
There's no more Sears. So just about on. Okay, now we're going to wrap this up, and we'll come back with the Ripper Recipe Roundup and a few other things.
Candy lips and honey hips make me wanna cry. Love is fine, but so is swine. Just don't make me choose. 'Cause understand, I'm still a man with the pork fat baby back blues.
Okay, we're back, Barbara.
Yes, we are. So if you want to come down and see us, you can come down to 73 Cochrane's Road, Moorabbin. And we are open Monday to Thursday, 10 to 5, Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, 11 to 5.
And when you're at the store, you can find our popcorn that we have there. So we have a new one called Munch a Bunch.
Yes, which I remember from growing up.
Mm-hmm. So first time in the store.
Yes.
Munch a Bunch. And also another brand is Coney Island.
Yes. So we've got kettle corn and cheesy corn.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
there's
about
a bunch
6
of
different
ones.
varieties of the Coney Island brand. A really nice packaging too. It has a scene of Coney Island.
Yeah, and it's right where the chips are. So have a look and you will not regret it. I have gone through a few bags myself, unfortunately.
And then also a reminder that if you like us and you want to talk to us or communicate, just go to podcast@usafoods.com.au. Now we'll go on to listener mail.
Well, I've got a little bit because I was talking over Crisp to a customer named Wendy, and we were going back and forth on a few things, and she's had a delayed package, so we we found it on a ghost. So please, by the way, everyone, I know New South Wales hard lockdown is new to you, but we went through this last year. Australia Post and all the couriers are really delayed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean they've lost anything. It just means they're going to take a little bit more time to get to you.
The post had to close down because they had too much.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, but Wendy, so we're back and forth. Everything's fine. She's lovely. And at the end, she goes, love the podcast. I was like, oh, that's so nice that you listen to us. And then I was helping another customer, Kathleen. And she said, oh, Melbourne, you're going through it at the moment. And I said, yes. And we even had an earthquake the other day. And she said, I saw that.
Yeah.
And I said, I called my mom in California and I told her all those earthquake drills didn't go away. So she goes, where are you from? And I said, where? I told her, I'm from Stockton. She goes, oh, I lived in San Francisco for she lived in Pleasanton, actually.
Yeah. And
then I went, Pleasanton, I spent my youth in your mall, which was Stone Ridge. And she goes, I would kill for Nordstrom's. And I was like, oh my gosh. So often I'm the person, there's several people that answered your messages, and often I'm the person. And it was so nice to meet a few new friends who I said, you should give us a listen because you'll definitely get all my Californian references. It'll be nice. We've got a lot of New Yorkers out there. And yeah.
Wish they all could be California.
That's us. That is Kathleen and myself. Now, we had some feedback from Leslie and my mother. Yeah. Now, so this is from my mother. She said, your grandfather would only eat my mother's spaghetti and garlic bread at the PTA fundraiser spaghetti potlucks. Can you imagine a potluck where it's all different spaghettis? But anyway, it's California. It's not Italian. That was very popular. They were very popular when I was growing up. I rarely eat the food at our church potlucks. Guess I got that from Dad.
you did just stay away.
Or the toilet strawberry story from the other week. She said, now, I think you guys covered it well, but I just want to add my 2 cents that I have been witness to how much good, or even if temporary, that potlucks can be to bring people together that normally wouldn't mix.
Mm-hmm.
So that's true. We had a director that loved our potlucks so much, and he was a great baker, that for his retirement, we chose as one of his gifts a cookbook of our popular potluck recipes. We also had a commander that always managed to find his way down from his office to join us. We did barbecue and cooked fresh lumpia. Good times. We had some very good cooks in our area. The cleanup was not so much fun, but totally worth it.
That's why I put everything in paper plates in a big bag and throw it
all
in. Yeah.
And
but a potluck is like, if you like going to a buffet, a potluck is like where you want to go.
It's the same thing. And kind of know. And there was, Leslie said she had someone that she worked with once that said they were bringing a beverage. So what they brought was a bag of lemons and a half a bag of sugar, and said someone can squeeze that and make lemonade.
Oh. Anybody worked at that
a hot dog and a stick?
Yeah, hot dog and a stick, and got the hat so you can make the lemonade. Yeah, we'll give you the little plunger. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we don't have the exact plunger, but we've got one in the toilet. Yeah.
And Megan, I did get your pictures. So she sent some pictures of some lovely gelatinous things, which I will show you.
Okay.
I'll show you later. But I meant to tell her last week that we did see them, and I do appreciate that. And I think that is all for my feedback this week.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. So moving on. So we got to get to the Ripper Recipe Roundup.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So these are just things that we pick out from the 7 national holidays coming up for this week.
That's right.
So you have their National Angel Food Cake Day.
Now, I adore angel food cake. We sell angel food cake mix. It's very popular. And, the grocery stores at home, it's just, you can just pick them up.
Yeah.
They're there. So often, like
They're already made.
They're already made with a styrofoam cup in the middle.
Yeah, to keep it.
Yeah, to use the bunt thing. Anyway, the best way is to dress it. That's what I was going to say, because they are my favorite. Used to be what I'd ask for a birthday cake. So a lot of people put glaze on top of it. Yeah. I like to make like a blueberry or raspberry or strawberry sort of compote or coulis. Actually, I made that.
Yeah.
The blueberry one this week.
That was really good. And that was gluten free. No, that wasn't gluten.
It wasn't gluten free, but it was vegan.
Vegan.
So I
yeah.
made a vegan cake for my daughter's birthday.
Mhm.
So I got 1 punnet of blueberries, and I cooked that with a half a cup of sugar and some water. I just sort of covered them a bit, and I cooked that for 20 minutes, and then I put another punnet of blueberries and cooked that for about another 10. So you had 2 consistencies, and it got syrupy. So that would be perfect to go on top of that as well. And cream cheese frosting, I've seen people do.
It's pretty hard because it's so soft and squish
But
it down.
all the frostings in a can, you know what you can do? You
What?
can microwave them and
Oh,
make a
to make 'em-
glaze out of a.
Oh, wow. There's a helpful hint by Heloise.
There
or
you
Barbara.
go.
Yeah.
That's right. So you can do that with any of them.
Mhm.
And some people cut them through the middle. I like serving it on the side. So here's your angel cake, and here's some strawberries to go with it, and that sort of thing. Whipped cream is another one. I think my grandmother used to frost it in whipped cream because it's just nice and simple. So there's my 2 cents.
Okay, there's your 2 cents. Now, if you haven't caught on, but we're going to give you now a recipe from each of us every week.
That's it.
So this is like a new feature part of our Ripper Recipe Roundup.
And we're going to...
Who thought of this?
Not
Brendan?
me. Yeah, that's right. Not anyone that has to say it. That's right.
Yeah. So he's texting me last night. Says, "Are you ready for your Ripper recipe?" Well, what are you RRR recipe? What are you talking
You
about?
said I'm confused or something.
Yeah, I'm so confused, Mr. Carter.
No comprehendo.
Yeah, no comprehendo. Right. So, anyways, then I realized when I went back to it, and I wasn't even drinking, and I said, "Let me go."
You should have been. That was the problem.
Try to figure out what is he talking about. Then I realized, oh, here's all the things on the 7-day Adventist list.
And he goes, "What's the recipe thing called?" Like to see if I remember it. I said something stupid like recipe roundup, something Ripper Recipe Roundup.
So I had to pick one out of there. So I picked up one that's familiar to me.
Yes,
and that's pretty easy to do. It's pulled pork.
And you brought that in, and it's amazing.
Yes. Now pulled pork is, I think everybody's scared of it.
Yes, I agree.
How I'm going to make pulled pork? Well, I tell you one thing. Pulled pork is one of the recipes that you cannot overcook. You could undercook it.
Yep.
But you can't. It's hard to ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As long as you got patience, you can't ruin it. All right.
Yep.
So you need a slow cooker or a Dutch oven at a low temperature, something you could put on. Forget about, I forgot about, I put that on this morning and I'm ready to go to bed. I forgot about, it's perfect. Okay. So it's something you don't want to rush through. But when you go do it, simple thing is you got to go to the meat market, get yourself a piece of pork.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Being a New Yorker, I don't buy anything unless it's on sale. So look for the cheapest piece of pork you can get, like in a big piece.
Yes.
Like, it could be a shoulder, could be a part of a hind, it could be a butt, it could be a pork neck, whatever. Okay. They're all good to make pulled pork. So when you get it home, first thing you do is trim it a bit because sometimes you get pieces that are fatty.
Yep.
Okay. It doesn't mean if it's bone or boneless. If you want to do less work, get without a bone. But once you cook it, it all comes off the bone very easily. Maybe I get your hands messed up. All right. So simply do that. Put your on the stovetop. If you're going to do it in a Dutch oven, heat that up. Put some olive oil in there, or whatever. Or if you don't like olive oil, put butter or margarine in. Okay. And then season your meat. So cut it up into big chunks.
Okay.
If you can, unless it's in a bone. But then you could just slice through it and keep it in a bone. But in the big chunks. So you get more flavor through it. And then put your favorite rub on it. So if you want to do more like a Midwestern one, use a brisket rub, a sweet rub, a hickory rub. Rub that into it and then sear it off into the olive oil just to brown it off. And you could do that with salt and pepper. You could do that with just garlic. You could do that if you want to do Mexican, do some cilantro to rub into it, or what they call coriander.
Yes.
Some salt and pepper, So whatever flavor you like, put into your meat. Okay. Sear it off, and then you put it into your slow cooker, or you're still in your Dutch oven there.
Yep.
Then you got to put liquid in.
So what do you use?
So if you want to get fancy, you could put some white wine in there.
Nice.
Okay, and use that, or you could put chicken broth, beef broth, vegetable broth, whatever broth you got in the closet. Okay, and then fill it up to maybe 4 inches high, just where it's halfway covering the meat.
Yep.
Or so. Put a lid on it that it's tight. And if you're doing the induction oven, into the oven, low temperature, like 140, 160, or get that old crock pot out, okay, and sit in the crock pot, put it on high to get it way up until it gets for an hour, and then put it on to low or medium, and just let it sit there. Don't bother with it.
Just walk away.
Just walk away, Renee. Okay, and then it's done. After 4 or 5 hours, when you'll know it's done when you can stick a fork and it just pulls away.
Yep.
Okay, simple as that, and it's done. So then take the meat out of it.
Yep.
You could use that broth you'll use that broth because there's a lot of flavor in it.
Yep.
Pull your meat apart just with some forks or whatever, or your hands. But be careful if it's still hot because you'll burn your hand. Okay, just pull it all. Very simple as that. Put it in a bowl. If it's too dry, use some of that broth. Put it in there.
Perfect.
But you still want to keep that broth around because it's a lot of flavor. So, and then if you refrigerate it, you could heat it up easily. It's also good, like just in a hot skillet the next day. So you want to heat it up. Just heat up a hot skillet, stick it in there. Almost like frying it up, and then make your sandwich with good coleslaw. If you want to get more Mexican, use like a salsa verde.
Oh, nice.
So and put some lime juice over it. Yeah, Bob's your uncle. Whatever you like to do, you could. If you don't want it that way, put barbecue sauce on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Put mustard on it. Whatever you like. That's the nice thing about pulled pork. It's whatever you want, and it's so simple. Don't be scared of it. Okay, because you can't ruin it.
Do you know I've never made it?
Because you're scared.
I am scared.
I can see.
I'm going to go out.
I'm scared. I'm so scared. Okay.
I am going to go out and I'm going to buy a hunk of pork this week.
Because it's like buying a pot roast. Pot roast is the same thing. Buy it's going to be the cheapest piece of meat because cheap meat is tough. It's only tough when you don't cook it a lot.
That's right.
Like even ribs.
That's true.
Ribs, if you don't cook it a lot, you can't eat it.
I really like the whole house smelling good all day. And I love that.
That will do it. Yeah. And then if you want to convert that to make a soup, so you put more of the stock into it, maybe cover it with stock, cook it for a long period of time. But then I put in my magic into it. I put some, to thicken it up.
Yes.
I put barley.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yes. So
Phil makes the world's best soup, and I'm a very lucky recipient of it.
So barley, some carrots, and also lentils. I use the red ones, red lentils. I put that into it as a thickener, and it's healthy for you, and you don't even see it in there once it cooks.
No.
And so you want to get your legumes and all that. So there you go.
I think you mean legumes.
Legumes.
That's it.
Oh, it's the New York accent.
Well, I know. That's okay. I don't mean to correct you.
We got a problem with Jews and Jews and not Jews people. No, Jays. Oh, geez. That's what I meant to say. Geez. I feel like Biden here for a minute. Yeah.
Okay, pal.
Oh God. Oh, yeah, Pally. Yeah. My little friend from Den. Oh, he's not that little. Yeah, from down under.
That's okay. We can't remember his name either. Now. Where we're gonna I'm gonna try that. I will get back to you next week. Okay. I think there's a game.
But now we're getting into summertime. It's not really good soup time, but it's good pulled pork time.
Yeah, so you can make sandwiches and things. And do we have any meat Mitch back in stock yet?
Yeah, it just came in. We got lots of meat Mitch.
Beautiful,
and we got also the Zach's rubs.
Yep. I might just top up when I go in, and then that might be what we're doing Saturday.
Yeah. So if you use the Zach rubs, I would do more the barbecue style.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that stuff's amazing.
But you still need that coleslaw too. Good coleslaw on top of the sandwiches is like the topper.
Okay. All right, I've got my shopping list ready. Now, what we will do is we're going to talk about. We've got a new segment next week. A product profile, which we've just almost done now.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. So what we're going to do is talk about something that we have in the store, but something, how to use it with something that maybe we've talked about or something new that we've discovered or something.
Or something we've been using. Like I got a lot of products in the store, especially the ones that first brought in. They go back to my childhood. And I got so many different recipes just for one of them in particular. And I won't say it now because it'd be a surprise.
Okay, well, I want the surprise. But so we're going to be talking about that. And next week, we're going to talk about our favorite chain restaurants. So I do miss those.
Yeah. We did mention it last week about, we don't have those middle of the rows,
Yep.
the Applebee's and all that. And I'm watching the football games, and they have all the American commercials on. Applebee's is one of them, and it's the place to go, to meet up and have a drink.
And you have a drink and a plate of appetizers and all that sort of thing. So culturally, we sort of miss that section here. It tends to be fancy when people go out and drink here. Or it's Doritos.
Or they go to a pub.
Yeah.
But it's a different atmosphere to a pub than a chain restaurant.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a few of our
First of all, a
favorites.
pub has a cook.
Yes, that's right. Chain restaurant has some people.
How do you open this up to cook this? Okay, we'll put it in a microwave, and then we put it on a platter and we serve it like the picture says.
But it's consistent mediocrity, and that's what we're looking for sometimes. Yes. That's it. Okay, now we have a sign off from Dimitri Martin.
When I first glanced at it, I thought it was Dean Martin.
I did too.
Yeah.
That's funny how we made
somebody.
Popcorn is one of the only situations in which you eat the result of an explosion.
Wow. Well, I think I'll go to the couch. Okay.
That is it.
All right. Till next week.
See y'all later.
Yep.